Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not even doing anything yet. Is it because I'm in a suit? It looks nice. Snow. I'm stressing. It's all right. We win these. We absolutely win these. I've never seen us lose these. I love him. I don't remember his name. What is going on, everybody? And oh, are we ready? I'll start over. Okay. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. The players are just now entering the arena for day one. A lot of them had the opportunity to be here yesterday to get jerseys, to get familiar with the area, and to get to know one another. But today, the friendly gloves have to come off, and they are all here. Earlier, I was talking to these guys. This mannequin, when they didn't have anything else set up, I could see it from all the way down there, and I thought it was a person. And I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why is he standing like that? And I thought it was like a smooth criminal. I thought somebody was giving us like a Michael Jackson impression, and then it was a mannequin. I was really embarrassed to admit that. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. Hold on, let's go over this window. It just keeps going. There's so many people outside. There are so many people outside. We're gonna interview people when they come in. I don't really want to go outside. It looks like it's gonna rain, and this suit is new, so. Oh, there's Doc Haskell. Hi, Doc, how are you? He brings a full notebook with him and like writes notes down. It was pretty insane. He had it yesterday. He's gonna be coming through this metal detector right here. I don't know his name though, but I recognize his hair.
Jen.
You're Jen? All right, we're gonna interview Jen, who's supporting Kennesaw. I'm gonna ask you like a couple of very simple questions. Okay, are we ready? All right, great. College. I really like Georgia College's color scheme. It's just red, white, and blue, I think, but I think they did it in a really clever way. Mineral area wearing hoodies, even though it is 75 degrees outside here in Atlanta, Georgia. Absolute legends.
If only Nick could hear you. Nick, come back.
If he's over 100 feet away, he can't.
You were whispering something and he started smiling. I'm like, are you whispering?
Oh yeah, because he's got his headphone in if we're close enough. But
Bless you.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit again. You're welcome. I'm gonna go find him. Oh, there he is. Oh my. Oh, okay. Real stuff is starting. Real stuff. Competitive integrity needs to be upheld. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I get really embarrassed when I get yelled at.
30 is
Okay. Wow, it's not 10:30 yet.
It's only barely 10.
Woo! All right, it's gonna be a long. Hey, what's up? Surprise interview. Join me over here. We have a cool backdrop. What are we here for?
Rocket League.
Awesome. I'm not going to ask what school you go to because unless you swapped hoodies, that seems pretty clear.
Nope. You know, I got my jersey on with my name on it.
Oh, you do? Show us your jersey. Look at John T. Turbo here.
Yeah,
That's not his name. I just keep calling him that.
Yeah.
His name is John, but
my name is John Turbesi.
Yeah,
That's
not John T. Turbo.
Yeah, I get the message that I'm going to Nebraska where I met you.
Oh, that's so crazy. So context, if we're probably not even going to use this, but I want to talk about it. Turbo and I met at a LAN like over a year ago. That's so crazy. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. I am Seb Dillons, joined by a man I have interviewed probably well over 10 times. It's going to be my good friend Neb, here from Bay State Overwatch team. Neb looked at me before he started his last series, and he said, we are not dropping a map for the rest of the day. And so far, he has lived up to that title. But Neb, is there anybody you're thinking, we've got to get them out of the way, we've got to take them down?
No.
No? Just looking at it, each fight's its own, every game, going into it, just taking it as it comes?
I have the confidence right now that we're not going to drop a single map.
I love Neb because not only is he confident, but he's correct. Bay State is one of the best Overwatch teams I've ever seen. So it's always good to hear. I love the confidence, and I love Bay State, so I hope they do a great job this weekend. So what qualifier, did you win a qualifier to get here?
At-large bid.
We're looking at Rocket League, we're thinking high odds, low odds, where do we think we're walking away?
I think pretty high. I think we're doing pretty good.
Is there anybody that you're looking at, you're like, please do not let us go up against them unless we absolutely have to?
I mean, really, everybody's good competition, so.
And sorry, what was your name?
Ethan.
Ethan from Mineral Area.
Yep.
Very exciting. Well, Ethan, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. What kind of pass? A player pass?
Let me get you a lanyard.
No, you actually have to like tape it to your chest, like really awkwardly with masking tape. Okay. And it's gonna fall off. Yeah. It's gonna be uncomfortable, I promise. That's a guarantee. Okay, cut that, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, good. I'm great, everything's good.
Who do we interview? Who should we interview?
I don't know, I'm just here. I need caffeine.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big.
Welcome to ECAC Top Plays of the Week. This is Rod, your favorite host, back at it again with more stellar plays from Collegiate Esports. Special thanks to our partners at Esports U for the additional coverage. Let's hop straight into it. Starting off this week at number 8, we have Torchy showing aerial dominance. They show that you're going to have to work a little bit harder if you want to get back on their stage.
Tiny bit here. Now you got to mix up your timings getting back onto the stage. Koichi is looking for something, able to still find the jab,
Oh.
and the foil is going to be.
Next up, we have Cadmus, showing us what impact on a support player really looks like. With the timing of a Lucio God, they come in to claim the play of the game.
Player just going to deny anyone an attempt to hit the objective, and I mean, at this point in time, you got to expect those rollouts to be as quick as they are.
Moving on to Rocket League, we have Swax, showing why they own the airspace with a nice self-follow-up, netting WSC the goal.
As we are going to try to find out that little nugget of information, Swax is going to drop this one down and give us a tie game here in game number 2. Gets that nice little touch over the defender, Peter.
As an Astra main myself, nothing brings me more joy than watching Zeno hold it down on the C site with a nice 4K to secure the second round of the half.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you all so much for waiting as we got a couple of things figured out in the back line, but welcome to some high caliber, high quality Overwatch 2 action coming at you right now. I am Septilence, joined by my good man, Clutchkey. And Clutchkey, I am super excited, A, to be back on the desk with you for the first time in, I think, multiple years. And
I think it's got to be at least 2 years.
and I'm super excited to be jumping into this because these are two of the best teams in the entire country. Two teams I am very close to and close with, and I'm really excited to see which one of these undefeated teams is going to lose tonight, because somebody has to.
Well, actually, though, you go back to the ECAC standings. Bethel in this matchup, both teams have 4 wins. Boise State actually took off one of their first weeks. So Boise State 4-0, all 3-0s. They had wins against in the ECAC at the very least. Fisher's JV team, you've got Shrine in there, Missouri Baptist, and Mount St. Mary's in that winning lineup. For Ball State, or excuse me, for Bethel, they would take a loss against Ball State Red team, who is also one of the other undefeated teams, 5-0. They're actually taking on Fisher, so another matchup to watch out there. Ball State, they would lose to 3-1, but since that week number 1, since October 10th, they've taken wins against SUNY Plattsburgh, who that was a forfeit game, but all 3 games since that forfeit have been 3-0s against Central Missouri, Newberry College, and the College of St. Rose. So either way, both of these teams looking good. You're talking about heavyweights. This is one of the heavyweight matchups to watch for.
It really absolutely is. Both these teams bringing out some insanely popular players in the collegiate scene, recognizable players for sure. That in the name on the side of Boise, we're going to be seeing Frost, we're going to be seeing Plato and Bagel. You look at the side of Bethel, we're going to be seeing players like Quibsy and Kuda and Big J. These are all incredible players, huge names that we have seen before, and teams that have really made a name for themselves going forward. Bethel, a newer program to the competitive Overwatch scene, and they have taken down giant after giant to get here, Clutch. So I'm wondering, is Boise just going to be another stone in the road, or is Boise going to become that immovable object that Bethel needs to run into?
Well, right, and you talk about how close these two teams are. This is like the immovable object.
Yes.
Right at this point. These two are going to head on head as we head into map number 1 of Oasis. And look, if these two teams are as close as you say they are, this map number 1 is that much more important because now you've got to get control, and it's not loser picks map anymore, right? It's regular season still. It is map set. It is map set already determined. So right now, you got to win Oasis. You got to win this first one. And look, the patch right now, right? The patch that was supposed to be scheduled for yesterday doesn't come out until tomorrow. So right now,
supposedly,
you're looking at teams that are practicing this right now. The only difference is though Bethel J5, Big J5 is going to go on to Tracer, and you're still going to have the Reaper. Either way, it's a mirror comp. So you're going to battle here in the middle. I'm going to wonder if this Tracer fights for the backline right now, if they can even find the backline.
Oh, Quibsy might not even get the chance to enter a front line. Plato going to be able to find first blood onto Space Marine, forcing Boise State into a 5v4 advantage. Let's make it a 5v3 as Dawson is soon to follow Space Marine right back into that spawn room. A very unfortunate early find on the side of Bethel, but Boise State, they found what they needed. They want to rush right into this site, and they're going to be able to get first cap for free.
Yeah, and it's such a good play, too, as Plato coming in. 2 quick picks, and you were talking about how fast they were going, not even trying to get into the front line. And look how far Plato is. The rest of the team counts the point. Meanwhile, this guy wants to peek a soldier, and I mean, it's just, the ego battle here is just absolutely insane. And the ult percentages as well, looking very good. Bagel's at 57 and 20% of ahead of Kuda for a sound barrier. I mean, this is just in Boise State's favor right now.
Boise State, they've got all the cards on the table, and it looks like they're playing them in the right order. Big J, a traditional projectile player, is not able to capitalize in this Reaper gameplay quite yet. Bagel with a two-piece of their own, and Clear with a melee to find Dawson. Boise State, they win 2 fights in 28%, and the momentum definitely working in their favor. They don't use any ultimates to win it, and the next fight gonna look even cleaner. Clear popping a very confusing primal, but every second you buy is a second worthwhile.
Yeah, it's a second that you're buying for the point, and look, you're forcing them all the way back. They're playing touch the spawn doors at this point, and Boise's looking really good right now. And look at the ultimate percentages, right? You're going to have Sound Barrier and a Kitsune Rush to start off, and look, they're going to trade this right away because they know that they can win this.
Oh, a bit of a Kitsune clash now is chosen, and Dawson hit that Q button, give the team a little bit of speed boost and damage output, but nobody is able to find that first blood until Kuda bites the bullet early. A support traded for a tank, actually more advantageous for Bethel as they find that Winston early. Now the beat from Bagel has been forced. Big J trades it quick, puts Plato down. Bethel should win this fight if they continue to play their cards right, and it feels like they are going to be able to do so. Big J5 finally coming to life. This is the DPS line Bethel needed. They stabilized. We're not seeing a 100-0. Okay, now we're not seeing a 100-0.
Yeah, it took a little while. They might have played the slow game there, but when Bagel goes down like that, and that was such a good ultimate by Big J, using that ultimate later and forcing out the sound barrier and then getting Plato afterwards. You saw the focus fire there from Bethel to go on to Boise State. Now they know their win con. If you can get rid of Plato, you've got a chance at winning the fight, especially if you get rid of make the Lucio force out of their position. It works out so well, and if you can force them out of position or even kill them at that point, focus firing them, it's going to work out really well for you.
And let's see where the focus fire kind of lands here. Kuda, they've got the advantageous position of that beat moving forward. Bethel gets to go out quickly, and unfortunately, Frost has that Q locked and loaded. A great counterplay. The offensive beat does not work well for Bethel, and now Boise State. They should be able to flip things right back.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't peel there. I mean, Quibsy had a chance to get the kill, but unfortunately, Bethel's, I think it was Bagel that was there, chosen went down, but Bagel was there healing him up during that time, and you really had no other options but to get out from that death blossom. You didn't have a sound barrier to protect you either. So right now, Boise State's still in command. You got to rush the point here, only 10%. And look, for Bethel, you've got a Kitsune Rush and an overclock opportunity. That's it. You got to work with what you got.
And here they both come. I think you nailed it, Clutchkey. There, we're going to see both of them come out very quickly, and that Kitsune is not going to get even a moment of opportunity as Plato takes down their counterpart in the form of Space Marine Sojourn. Grimsy Primals in an attempt to keep the point up and running. It looks like we see Big J taking out Frost as well. And I think Bethel should have this unless this overclock from Plato is huge. Just like this, Clutch, as a one-piece already chosen goes down. And I don't know if Big J is going to live long enough to use that ult. He certainly is not. The beat from Bagel gives Boise that extra bump they need to get a bit more aggressive. And now as they're getting ready to tick down from 99 into 100, Bethel has to recontest. They have to replay, but Plato has not fallen. Finally, Plato goes down, and Bethel's last chance at success has finally fallen out the window. Space Marine missing. It's up for this Winston to stall. Quibsy just can't make it happen, and Bethel delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, and right now, they're probably going to win this point here. The only person left you got is that Lucio, and now you got the Reaper.
Oh, Big J! That stings. He had a great opportunity, but you get booped away, and sometimes that little boop is all that you need.
Yeah, and an unfortunate situation, and look, kudos to Bethel for even holding it on that long. In an overtime situation where you're losing everybody one by one, but that's the way the stall game works, right? And so Boise State off to a right foot, and they played that perfectly. At the very beginning, I was questioning what Big J had on that Tracer, because the Tracer, I mean, yes, it's going to find you maybe a pick in the back line, but if Boise State is able to fire, focus fire one of your DPSs, even your supports down like Kuda or Space Marine, that's going to cause you so much trouble. So that Tracer doesn't even matter at that point. And now, if Boise State pulls this out, and are they going to pull out the Orisa and the Baptiste? I mean, this isn't meta, but hey, do what works, right? I guess is what you're going to choose out, and I guess the Orisa is being pulled out, and look, that might counter the Winston just a little bit, but we'll see. I mean, I haven't seen the Orisa go with the Monkey just yet, especially in this comp, but yeah. I mean, it looks like Boise State is maybe willing to try this out and see if they can get any picks.
Yeah, it's a weird strategy. I think Clear was going for a bit of an environmental kill, but this Orisa, she's going to be a bullet magnet for Big J on the Reaper, who's already at that 30% on Death Blossom. Lucio's Kuda makes it out by the skin of his teeth, and now Plato still won't let that Lucio out. Misses an overclock. Big J with that first blood onto Frost, but losing a DPS doesn't mean you've lost a fight, because a trade just like that can happen. Clear going down for Boise State should give Bethel the advantage they need to take this first point cap. Quibsy going all the way into the back line, trying to find Plato, and should be able to do so. A huge stagger against Boise.
Yeah, and that Orisa pick was a little questionable, at least in my mind. And maybe on this point you had a chance, but with the mobility that the Winston has, able to jump up and dive targets, you don't really get that with the Orisa. And if that Orisa is stuck in the middle, you're leaving, and I mean, your supports are being forced all the way back. You're leaving yourself wide in the open for the rest of the team to just jump onto your support. So now that they switch onto the Winston, it's a huge lead for Bethel, especially on that primal rate. And now, again, the support ultimate, maybe Boise State has this advantage, but if you come up on the Kitsune Rush, it's probably going to be used right away, especially in this upcoming fight.
Oh, Plato with a first blood on Nakuda. Big J doesn't even get the chance to fire as the rest of the team begins to go down. Dawson finds an equalizer, but Bethel still down by 1. They're playing the stall game. Now they've equalized here, Clutch. This is a huge moment. They're even committing a Kitsune to make sure that Reaper goes down early, and early he shall fall. Bethel's Kitsune works absolute wonders there as Boise not able to recontest, not able to stabilize the point, and I honestly think Bethel has won this one out. They've got both supports still standing. It's up to this Winston and a Lucio from Boise to try and save the day, but the longer they wait, the harder they stagger, and the more percent they hand over to Bethel, who's already kissing 60. Bagel goes down super late into the fight, and that gives Quibsy the green light to go deep into the back line, looking for an early kill, an environmental kill, anything to stagger Boise even harder, but now it answers clears. Primal Rage, both very angry monkeys. Big J's Blossom, it turns into a full-blown garden, and it finds a two-piece of its own. Boise State absolutely decimated here in a very long fight on Oasis.
Yeah, and Boise State doesn't pull out the sound barrier either, because that sound barrier was way too far back. You talk about a stagger, that was huge for them. Yes, they regroup, but if Bagel's forced all the way back, especially due to a primal rage by Quibsy, that sound barrier would have gone for nothing. So good green light there from Big J to go right in and take advantage of it. But Boise State comes up on 4 ultimates now. They're probably going to use the Kitsune Rush to lead in here.
They've got to use something clutch. This is a now or never moment. Any ultimate you've got, you better pop it, and the Kitsune is going to be the first. The beat comes out early from Kuda, and I think that's going to spell disaster for Bethel as that Death Blossom is still locked and loaded in Frost's back pocket. Overclock finds Big J, and it looks like somebody may be joining him in the graveyard soon, but no! Actually, all of them stay alive a little bit longer. Kuda down. Bethel, you've got to get out of dodge. You've got to tuck tail and run back to spawn, but Space Marine committing the overcharge in a moment I really think they needed to hold on to it is going to be tough. Makes Bethel's recontest even harder moving forward.
And that's not bad. I mean, if you're Bethel, that's not bad either, because, again, you've got one fight territory. Boise State's got 2 ults coming up, a Sound Barrier and a Death Blossom, and Bethel's got that Kitsune Rush maybe to cancel it out. Nothing else other than that. So for Boise State, you like your ult chances. For Bethel, you're liking the fact that you've got 99 here, and they're going to lead with a Kitsune Rush, which Boise State's going to do a wonderful job of cutting back at this point.
Without a doubt, Kitsune Rush, a very strong ultimate, essentially a 16 member in the sense of the speed and damage output it gives you. Frost, a very predictable Death Blossom, but the predictability is going to tank its effectiveness as everybody does get out of dodge early on. Space Marine will fall late to clear. Bagel finds Quibsy, and then Bethel doing a great job all the way to 99, but 99 not going to cut it. You've got to get to 100. You've got to force that third stage, or Boise is going to go up 1-0.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Bethel did it, and you were talking about a predictable Death Blossom. They kited back that so well, and especially with Boise State cutting back so well as along with the Kitsune Rush from Dawson. I mean, Boise State played that perfectly. You couldn't have asked for a better play there, especially only using 1 ultimate. Now you've only got 1 ultimate on either side, and if you're Boise State looking to defend this right now, the focus fire that Boise State is providing is using good. And look, the Primal Rage is being used early, which means Bethel's got to use something here, because Boise State comes up on the Kitsune Rush.
I really like the Primal Rage there. It split the team entirely. Quibsy chasing Bagel all the way down, taking that Lucio out. It's a 5v3 currently, now down to a 5v2. Kitsune from Chosen, a critical error, but they understand this is the last fight, and they need that damage output. They need that speed boost to try and win it. Plato does find Big J, but you got to find 4 more. Overclock, null and void, as Bethel goes deep into the spawn of Boise State. The beat from Kuda, Overclock from Space Marine, and Big J has been removed, but the rest of the team still standing. Boise State trying to get all the way up to that 100%. A full team recontest comes out quick. Bagel goes down early, the speed boost missing, and Space Marine has that opportunity to strike their first time in a long time. They get a kill with that Overclock. Reaper's Frost is gone now, and it looks like Boise State is not going to be able to hold down recontest. Overtime activated, but Death Blossom there to scare him out. Sojourn ducks in quick, and now 2 are on the point. Big J doesn't find anything. Quibsy puts down Plato in the recontest. It is stagger after stagger right now, because Boise knows the second they all go down is the second this stage will come to a close. A final recontest here. Not sure if I'm ready to call it as I see that little Reaper doing his dance, but it is not going to fall in time. Big J finds Frost, and we are going all the way to stage 3.
Yeah, Chosen there does a little drop down and then TP's back up to the team thinking that they can get back in time. Unfortunately, you needed to wait just a little bit longer to try and keep stalling that out. But my bad. I thought Quibsy going in there with a Primal Rage super early on wasn't going to be very effective considering Boise State had that Kitsune Rush. But again, Bethel choosing the focus fire down and splitting up the team worked out perfectly. So now you come on to what is the final map here on University. And for right now, Boise State, your win con right now, taking care of Big J or Kuda very early on, because Kuda's been building up the sound barrier at the same rate Bagel has, and the supports have been absolutely going off. So now you got to wonder, Kitsune rushes, you got to trade, if you're going to trade that out, you got to find a way to get a sound barrier up earlier for Bethel, and right now for Boise State, same thing. Finding a way to maybe get that sound barrier and also getting Plato to just pop off, because I didn't see Plato's name a lot, especially in that second half.
Agreed, and this is a very good Reaper map, but not as great of a Sojourn map. She kind of gets her value in mid to long range. This is a rather close to mid range, so Sojourn tends to not be as effective. Winston, though, he's supposed to do well, but Quibsy doesn't even get the chance to find out as he is deleted from the fight early on. As soon as the tank goes down, that's the linchpin of the matchup, and the rest of the team often has to backpedal. A backpedal Bethel certainly shall. Winston Bubble comes in quick. Quibsy returns to the fight, and Boise State should get that first cap 61% of the time. The team to cap a point first is the team to win out that stage. And right now, Bethel, they want to win it out on their lonesome. A full overclock traded between Sojourns. Both of them will live to tell the tale. 10% already online for Boise. Bethel, they just can't find that opening pick. And finally, Big J puts down Frost, and Boise gonna have to be a little bit more scared about the engagement for the rest of this fight. Oh, this fight's actually over.
Well, they're kiting back just a little bit, but now again, Bagel goes down super early, which means this kite's going to be pretty much over, and you find the last picks there. But you look at the ultimate situation right now. Bethel's got a better chance with the Kitsune Rusher. You don't have to use it right now, and that's great for you because you get rid of the Winston, and that's a huge stagger, which means Boise State now has to pull back. But now the difference, and you were talking about how this is a Reaper map, look at the difference in ult charge. Bethel's got it above 30%. Above Frost right now. Big J's doing work on the Reaper right now, so that Death Blossom probably going to be available this fight, and I would expect it to be used right after that sound barrier is used.
Yeah, without a doubt, they want to try to bait out the sound barrier with this Kitsune rush, but it's going to turn into a bit of a Kitsune clash. Chosen brings theirs out early. Plato commits that overcharge. They've been incredibly effective up to this point at removing Bethel from the fight, so now they're all playing distance. Look at this. They're playing walls. They're playing corners. The Death Blossom comes out very sneakily, forces the Wraith. Clear finds one. Plato finds another, and Bethel committing 2 ultimates into the fight. They're still not going to be able to win it. Something needs to change, but change will not be happening here today. Bethel losing their third member. Only 2 remain, and they can't even stall here, Clutch, as they are simply taken down like dominoes, one immediately after the other.
Yeah, that Death Blossom was a little questionable there. You were trying to force out a sound barrier, sure, but it didn't really come out to anything, especially where the Death Blossom was played right in front of the choke area. So for right now, I mean, Boise State's got the lead, and you're going to come up on your own Death Blossom. And look, Bethel doesn't have a sound barrier or a Kitsune Rush to counter it. So either way, right now, oh my God, Plato coming out with picks is what I said. Plato needs to show up here, especially in a Reaper map. Soldier needs to come out and make some plays, and that's exactly what just happened.
An incredible play there from Plato. Taking down a single person like that removes the entire team attempt, the entire team strategy. You cannot willingly push into a 5v4 without it being an absolute last fight, without it being absolutely necessary, because losing, the odds go way up when you're missing 20% of your team. Chosen has to commit entirely to healing here. Big J can't even flank into the back line. A great railgun shot from Plato. The equalizer there actually better for the side of Bethel, as they are going to be able to find that support, but better no longer. Oh my goodness, Bethel using everything they have, throwing it all out with the kitchen sink, but it looks like it is going to be working well. This will be the last fight if Bethel loses it, but if they can win it, if they can get the point back, they can guarantee at least 2 more. And it looks like we're going to continue seeing some action on the side of Bethel. 16% left for Boise.
Yeah, they threw the kitchen sink, they threw the house, everything. I mean,
seriously,
they threw everything in the house you can expect. Bethel pulls out the Prima Rage, pulls out the overclock at the same time. Space Marine getting 2 kills with that overclock was huge too, but now the fact that you got to win 2 fights basically here in quick ones, if Plato gets anything out of this overclock, this is going to be over.
This will be overclock indeed, and Plato going to commit it early on here. We hit the Kitsune coming out from Dawson, giving the team the opportunity to rush in fast. I love the play from Big J there. He's not even looking for the kill, he's looking for the fear, and he found it. He forced Plato out of the back foot, taking them completely out of the LOS of all of Bethel and burning a majority of that overclock. I think 4 of the 6 shots were not fired. Kitsune from Chosen now as Boise hard rushes back into the site, and it looks like Quibsy, maybe the first to fall, cannot make it out in time. Boise State should have this fight in the bag. Bethel equalizes. They have to give the point back immediately, and that stagger onto Quibsy is really going to hurt Kuda. That's huge.
That's
Kuda
huge.
falling. They have no speed boost. They have no beat. And now they've got to do something crazy. They need a miracle to win this. 5 seconds left. And Big J not going to participate in the final fight. Is a recontest even on the table for this team?
Nope.
Clutch, it looks like it's not. The beat comes out late. Nobody's there to catch. And Boise State going to take map number 1.
What a map. Wow.
A great map. This is what I wanted.
I think the only difference there from it being a 2-0 to a 2-1 was Boise State choosing a reset at the very beginning.
Yep.
I think that was the only thing that kept this from being a 2-0 to 2-1. Not to say Bethel did their best to do it. Look, they got 37% off them on Gardens. They got 85% off them in University that you just saw. And look, I mean, it worked out super well for Boise State. They knew what their win cons were, and especially with getting Kudo right at the end. You and I can agree, getting Kudo right at the end to try to stall out the contest was the biggest thing Boise State could have done to win that map. I mean, to win out University in the end, to get what they needed to do done, especially getting Quibsy down, to get Kuda down to get Kuda gone. It's just, I mean, it was an unbelievable win there for Boise State, and we're in for a good one. Look, 2-1. I've been cursed in a couple of the last games as play-by-play that I've gotten 3-0s in my last couple of matches. I don't think that's going to be the case today. So thank you to our crew here for making me color in this case, so I get to watch a great game, because I'm thinking this is going to go the distance right now, especially the way that Oasis went. But now for Bethel, what you got to fix here, it's a lot. It's not a lot per se in big things, but it's a lot of tiny things. Mainly just making sure that you're focus firing the right person. If you're going to go on one target, stick on that one target, especially in a dive situation like this, especially in a chance where in a long range map like what's coming up in Kings Row, right? When you get to that alleyway area, if you get to the streets area, if you get to that area as well. And Kings Row, first point, it's going to be all of that Reaper trying to get that, and maybe the Sojourn going up top, on top of Theater or on top of the other rooftops as well, making sure that they can get those first picks. But as we say that right now, right, Boise State's just doing so much better with Plato on that Sojourn. I talked about how Plato needed to make a lot of big plays in that last map. Did so with a couple of headshots, even though Space Marine was right there to counter. Plato made the best shots possible, even without that overclock finding much of anything. It still worked out in Boise State's favor in the end.
Absolutely. And Quibsy, I don't remember the exact composition, but I can tell you last time I saw Bethel, Kudo was not on support. Quibsy, I don't believe, was on tank. So we've seen some pretty aggressive shifts in the team. 2 team members are missing. You know, Momo and Zach aren't there. Momo was on a tank. Zach was a DPS player. I don't know if they graduated, if they're not on the team anymore, whatever it may have been. But I do know that this is a different Bethel than the one I saw. So things did feel a little bit, you know, off kilter, a little bit more weird. 2 players off rolling. Maybe we see some role swaps going into Kings Row. Maybe they're just trying to make this work, as that upcoming patch is going to be here on Thursday. So maybe that's what they want to try to aim for. They want to bring that out early, try to get comfortable with these roles. I don't know, but I'm excited because I know Bethel can do very well on this map. They're keeping it close with Boise, 2 of the best teams in the entire country, brawling it out right now. I really do think this is not going to be a 3-0 series. And if it is going to be the closest 3-0 we have ever seen.
Yeah, it's the 3-0. If it does come down to it, I will just say 2 things. 1, I'm cursed. And 2, it's going to be just an interesting fact that it would be a 3-0 because Bethel has the opportunity to go to take this to 3-1, 3-2, or even win the series themselves. I think it will go, bold prediction, this will go the distance. And if Bethel can find a way to find their focus fire and find their way in. And look, Quibsy was not a bad tank whatsoever. It's just that he got so unlucky that Boise State decided to focus fire either the tank or focus fire down on Dawson or Kuda, and the Kitsune Rushes got traded out so many times, but Boise State played that better when the Kitsune Rushes got traded. Sound barriers were played better there by Bagel in the end. So honestly, Boise State's got the tools, but Bethel's got the opportunities to try to win this game, and right now just needs to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, and it's so funny. You look at stage number 2, you look at City Center. Who was the first person to fall? It was the tank from Boise. That was a stage win for Bethel. Going into University, who was the first person to fall? It was Quibsy from Bethel. That was a stage win for Boise. So clearly, a lot of this relies on the tanks. You know, I say that so super often about how important the tank is in a game like Overwatch 2. There's no longer a secondary tank, an off tank, or a main tank. If you go down, you are the entire tank line. And if you fall, it can spell disaster for your team. And I think both teams learned that lesson the hard way. Going into Kings Row, it's been very interesting to see the evolution of Kings Row. People keep trying out the Reinhardt. Zarya seems to always make an appearance. Roadhog has been weirdly common on this map recently, so maybe we're going to be seeing some big shakeups here in the tank line. But the DPS, you know, it's Sojourn and probably Reaper. If we get something else, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Big J's Hanzo. It is one of the best Hanzos I have ever seen, both in and out of Collegiate, and I think it could work really well on a map with as many long-distance ranges as Kings Row has.
Yeah,
also, of course, my boy Jay Silly. I'd love to see
Yeah, and of course the Reaper, right? I mean, one of the best characters. I mean, my favorite character is the Reaper guy. He's very powerful, special move. Honestly, one of the best in the game. And he comes equipped with these 2 revolvers, and it only takes about 3 or 4 shots to actually execute a kill. So it really comes in handy, especially when you're flanking and coming from the side. So I mean, for in this case, the Reaper, one of the best the Reaper guy, one of the best characters in this game thus far. And really, now if Bethel decides to hold this, Bethel's on the attacking side. I mean, I know they're on the attacking side, but Boise State, again, don't fix what's not broken. You play the meta characters. You don't have to play. Thank you very much, Rhino, for the zoom in on the Reaper guide. I mean, you've got maybe the Doomfist coming out. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I'm not even worried about the Doomfist clutch. No, Big J! No, I didn't even get to talk about it!
No, Sep.
I got Big J baited. Oh my goodness, I'm devastated. Quibsy on the Roadhog, though.
There you go. That's what I was about to say. Quibsy on the Roadhog. And the Roadhog has been working for some teams. I mean, we saw it back in a couple of other collegiate matches where the Roadhog comes out. And look, Roadhog, 700 health, the hook, the take a breather. I mean, it works out perfectly for some teams if your heals can just keep you just up all the time.
Yeah. You can't even play Hog the way you used to. You can't go on that flank run. You can't be that 3rd DPS. You still have to try and manage to be a shield for your team, but you can also deal an insane amount of damage like that. Clear has fallen. Boise on the back foot. Plato, a quarter of their HP left in the roster here. Frost tries to find one, but Quibsy finds their 2nd opening kill. A deep TP into the back line from Frost as he's just desperate to get away from Bethel. I do think that is going to be a first fight already down and out. A recontest, I gotta be honest, feels pretty unlikely, but as Quibsy misses the hook, that could be the green button here.
No, it's not good. I mean, it could be, but you're going to lose out on your Reaper. And yeah, you just lose out on the payload. And look, you switch on over to the Zarya. This is going to be way too little too late because now they can just run you over, especially with the speed boost and you already losing your Reaper down. It's just going to be a fast fight here, and they're going to get some space here on the streets. But a good play overall from Bethel, going right in, making sure, again, the focus fire was there, right? You got what you needed to down, and the Roadhog coming in was an unexpected pick because we all know that Winston was the majority pick. But now that you have the Zarya, maybe Clear is thinking that this is going to counter out the Roadhog, but with the Roadhog already got Whole Hog and the Kitsune Rush there. Kitsune Rush plus Whole Hog, if you've never played against it, my God, you're about to watch a spectacle.
So scary.
Because it's so scary.
It's terrifying, Clutch. Going in quickly here. Here comes that Whole Hog. You hit the nail directly on the head as it's going to be Kitsune into Whole Hog, and Quibsy pushing every single member of Boise State back. They lose Plato. Oh! A full distance last pixel hook onto Clear, and they are out of here. Also, during this little downtime between fights, I do want to make a change in something I made a comment earlier. I said Zach from Bethel was not playing. Zach is Dawson. They did not tell me that. That is the same player. So another DPS player from Bethel now in the support role. So that is very interesting to watch. Makes a lot of sense. I just want to clarify that early. As this next fight begins, though, Clutch, what are we looking at?
Well, you're looking at a Kitsune Rush plus an Overclock, which they're going to use right away. And look, you're also going to have a Graviton Surge at the same time. They're probably not going to have to use it because they're kiting away for right now. So as it stands, I mean, that's a Kitsune Rush wasted. So now you've got the Graviton Surge. Probably going to have to use it in this, maybe in this room, or maybe when they regroup. They're probably going to go upstairs and just hold off for right now. But until then, that Graviton Surge is probably not going to be used until that Sound Barrier is used. They force it out, which is big.
Yeah, the beat came out early, which is essentially just a go button for Clear's grab. It looks like Bethel is not going to be able to clean up in time. Big J goes for the hero play, gets taken down early by that railgun, and Boise State, 3 ultimates in their pocket. Bethel just barely getting 1 or 2 online. Oh, Quincy.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's just a waiting game for death. But Boise State played that perfectly, right? Oh, wow. Okay, well, interesting secondary fire there. But anyways, that was just unlucky from Dawson. But anyways, Boise State coming in with 3 ultimates now, and they played that perfectly, right? Kitsune Rush, you drag out, you kite back, and now you forced out the Sound Barrier, which gave Clear the win, which gave Clear the go signal to go ahead and use that Graviton Surge. Now with Boise State, you don't have to worry about a Sound Barrier. The only thing you got to worry about is that protection of Huda there. And, oh, it's a good trade, though. That's not too bad.
Oh, what a whole hog! Oh my goodness, Frost can't find anything, but unfortunately the whole hog was not enough to save the team from that natural disaster known as Boise State. They are like an avalanche. They collapse on top of you. You are not going to be making it out alive. Bethel, now 2 ultimates on the board. Boise only committing 2 in that fight. They're doing a great job rotating these Clutch, as every time it feels like they've got some ultimates to use in the next fight.
I mean, it's not bad, but Bethel using that whole hog was really bad for them. I mean, especially when you can't get off that whole hog combination with the Kitsune Rush. And look, they're going to go right in again.
Oh!
Look, with Clear gone, green light.
Yeah, I mean, that is not even a green light. That's just a go. You should have gone 10 seconds ago scenario. Zarya goes down. The rest of the team has no one to hide behind, no bubbles to save them. Full damage to the face from Bethel. Takes them about 2 minutes to get near the second point cap, but it looks like they are going to be able to do so. Quibsy goes for the haha kill. Not able to find it, but can keep the momentum in favor of Bethel. Can force Boise in the opportunity to not recontest. And I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. The recontest might come out with the Kitsune.
Yeah,
now.
you don't have a whole lot to recontest.
Plato takes down Big J early. Kuda is also going to fall. They are less than 2 meters away, but those 2 meters are still going to stall them out early. Over half the time bank missing. Boise dominates Bethel.
Yeah, remember they had over 5 minutes on the clock here, and it's been whittled away. 5.5, and they whittled it away to 2. But more importantly, though, I mean, you were talking about a recontest. Look, if Quibsy had a whole hog, they don't recontest that whatsoever. But because Quibsy used it so early on, Boise State's like, okay, let's go right in. Let's use the speed boost. We can recontest. We can win this dry fight. That's exactly what they did. Didn't even need to use much of anything, if that. So now Bethel's going to come in here with no ults. Neither is Boise State. The only ultimate that's going to come up is Graviton Surge. So if Boise State is ult counting, they can use it.
Oh my goodness, he whips the combo and can't take down the Kiriko early. It might have just been the extra healing that kept her up, but Big J will find the equalizer afterwards. Clear goes down early once again, and it feels like when Clear falls, the fight's all but over. Plato desperate to stagger some folks back to spawn, but the stagger has not come to fruition yet. You remove the Reaper, you gotta remove quite a few more people to really make that worth it. Down to less than 5 meters online. Clear's Wrecking Ball makes an appearance. A desperate play from Boise just to make sure they stall out Bethel early. It's only desperate if it doesn't work, and right now Clear buying this team so much more time to stall out.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You have to use the Wrecking Ball to stall, but the question is this going to work? And you find a pick on the Quincy, meaning, hey, guess what? It might have just worked.
Oh my goodness, Bethel, they literally have to throw every ultimate out right now. They need to find every single elimination. They lost the tank. They need to make up for it. It looks like they are just barely going to be able to. Clear uses adaptive shields, keeping the team alive. Bagel playing it low and slow in the back line, using the natural cover to prevent damage, but he does not recontest that final time. 2 minutes on the clock. If Bethel does cap all 3, it'll probably be in overtime.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay, I got baited for a second. I saw the Doomfist out for a little while, but Boise State now opting for the Orisa pick, which it seems a little interesting to me. Yes, Orisa had a lot of changes, but against this combination of, I mean, maybe you're looking to counter out the Roadhog, or maybe to stop the Death Blossom or something else like that. Oh boy, oh my god, you and I both fought it. I
thought he was going to TP back up, but I like the Wraith to move a little faster to get on ledge there. Now, no Orisa halt, so you don't have to worry about being pulled in quickly.
Oh, that's not bad. You get Big J on that.
About being taken down. Chosen does find Big J early on, and it looks like Bethel going to have to backpedal toward their spawn door once again. Frost finds Quibsy, and that is definitely your reminder email to get right back into your spawn and regroup, discuss what you can do moving forward, and try to capitalize. Clear's Orisa pick here. A weird one, but clearly an effective one.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not bad. Now you go back onto the Winston, which means Bethel's got tank advantage. I mean, if you look at the meta, but Boise State's got ultimate advantage. You've got a Kitsune Rush, you've got a Sound Barrier. This is probably going to be last fight the way this is looking right now. If you can get rid of Clear or rid of Quibsy early on, this is a clear sign for Boise State. And look, they're probably going to use the Sound Barrier right after this Kitsune Rush, depending on how this goes.
Kitsune Rush could be huge here from Boise, but I don't even think they're going to need it. I think that's going to be another ultimate pop for the next fight. They do pop it, though, which is unlucky. Chosen brings it out a little bit late, but hey, it's more of a, what is it called, an insurance policy to guarantee you win that fight. Bethel, they've got an overclock, and Space Marines overclocks have not been as effective as Plato's, if we're being honest, but they have found some value in some pretty critical moments. Terra Surge online, though, from Clear, and they're hiding for it. They didn't look behind them, though. And Big J gonna force them out of that hiding spot early. Most likely gonna force the Terra Surge as well. Oh, what a bubble! Genius play from Quibsy. Kitsune into overclock. Clear, desperate to make it out. Has to use the javelin spin. Overclock from Plato. Just around the corner. I can almost guarantee it. And Boise gonna work around a corner of their own. Great charge shot there, but the shield gonna tank at least 2 of those 4 shots.
Plato needs to find a pick here. Oh, they do. That's huge. The Sound Barrier gets forced out at the same time. So right now, if you're Boise State, you're liking your chances to win.
Yeah, Boise State, they've got the numbers, they've got the spawn advantage, and they've got an ultimate known as the Death Blossom tucked into their back pocket. Great Suzu, but I don't think it's going to do enough. Frost finds a double kill, and Clear takes down Big J. That has got to be the nail in the coffin. Bethel, they're going to be falling late here. At least they made it to the 3rd point. They've got a win condition set, but unfortunately, the Orisa swap just dominates Bethel on this 3rd point.
Did I say I love the Reaper guy?
I love that Reaper guy.
I love the Reaper guy. No, but honestly, for Boise State, look, I thought the Orisa, especially the Orisa pick wasn't going to work, but when it comes out later, when it comes out against maybe the Wrecking Ball, hey, that's going to work out in your favor. And then with the ultimate percentage difference, that Terror Surge rather made a huge difference because that forces out the bubble. Bethel then has to regroup just a little bit, and then Boise State's got a little bit more of an advantage. But then you get the plays from Plato, and look, that first pick right before the sound barrier, Kuda's sound barrier comes way too late. It came in too late for Plato to get a pick from, so that sound barrier goes all for nothing in a 5v4 situation, and Boise State gets the go-ahead signal. And that Javelin doing a lot. I mean, Clear earlier on getting that Javelin pick onto Big J, allowing the rest of the team to just fall on that Reaper and focus fire them. Hey, it worked out. So Boise State, if they choose to stay on this Orisa, not a bad pick if they can get down 1 or 2 people from the very start. Plato's been going off, especially on that last point, and Plato's warmed up and can keep that momentum going. I'm looking at Plato being a good pickoff person here for Bethel if they want to win this fight. But if Boise State can find a way to just even get 1 pick, they've been so consistent with as soon as they get first pick, they've got to win. If Boise State can find that early first pick, Bethel's not going to have any answers for this.
No answers. This is, of course, the name of the game. In Bethel, they have definitely fallen short in some pretty critical moments against Boise. It goes into that hero pool depth, that versatility in the sense of just being able to swap off of a hero if it's not working. Bethel, they've been running, I believe, the exact same team comp this entire time. We saw Big J on the Tracer once at the beginning of the series and have not seen a swap off this Reaper guy since. The pressure on, though, for Bethel as their backs are against the wall. If they lose this fight early, it could spell disaster, but it took them a minute to cap. They want to make sure Boise takes a little bit longer. Plato's railgun online, 8 seconds you can hold on to that thing before it starts decaying, and then all you have to do is find 1 bullet to reset that 8-second timer. Very poorly done, in my opinion. Needs reworked. It's a very strong ability, but Boise, they're definitely taking advantage of it. The Disruptor Field comes out, forces Bethel into Hotel. A lot of damage to be taken, and they force themselves into a choke. This is tough. It's almost like the roles have swapped. It feels like Bethel's on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, they're rotating, and this is the same kind of rotations oh, that's huge, though. But you lose the DPS on both sides. Hey, this is advantage for Boise State right now, because you can come right back in. Yes, you get rid of both Plato and Clear. Okay, but now Big J's just going to take care of everything. I mean, that's just a cleanup. That's a 3K. So Bethel survives, and you were talking about switching sides. Bethel would take that any day, especially if you don't know which side they're going to come out of, and Big J can just run them over. And now you've got the ultimate percentage. Look, Bethel's already got a Kitsune Rush, and are probably going to come up on a sound barrier way before Boise State does. So this is probably going to be a good win, unless Boise State cuts back as they normally have been.
There's Kitsune early from Bethel. Finding the opening pick here could be just enough to get them momentum moving forward into this defense. Plato down. Chosen does get the Mega as Big J can't reload fast enough. And now he's going to give his life for the cause. He can't TP out. A critical blunder, but it would have, of course, been worth it had he found that Kiriko. In the previous fight, Bethel did something I'm not very good at. That definitely goes to show how impressive this team can really be. In just the sense of they let a couple of ticks get put on the board and then they recontested. I'm really bad at that. I think it's a very smart play coming out from Bethel. And now moving forward, Kitsune out from the side of Boise State. They have to commit beat from Bethel just in a desperate attempt to not take that damage, but Frost has Death Blossom online, and every single Death Blossom has been wildly impactful from this team. Clear finds the lead kill onto Space Marine. A point cap for Boise takes them 2 additional minutes over what it took Bethel, so Bethel in a good spot to try and stall out here between points 1 and 2 of Kings Row.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State, if you're Bethel, you're going to take that win. You're going to take the fact that you had a better time back. Now, can you stall out like Boise State did back on this point? And Plato falling low is super huge. Oh my god, how do you get away from that? But Boise State coming up on 4 ultimates. Bethel's only coming up on 1. And right now, with Boise State winning a lot of some of these drive fights, then, I mean, Boise State getting rid of Quipsy so early on means that they can even just push up even more if they wanted to, especially with your Winston gone. They choose not to, which isn't bad. But again, 4 ultimates to what, 2? For Bethel, yeah. I mean, Boise State can use a 3rd. They don't even have to use a 4th. That sound barrier is going to be super impactful, especially for Boise State on the alt comp.
Oh! Dawson,
but
great pick there. Going to be able to take Chosen out early. That's the Kiriko offline. Actually gives Dawson the opportunity to now jump ahead in that ult game because they were tied up exactly at 72-72. Frost brings out Death Blossom early. The Suzu falls just fast enough. Both DPS ults committed from Boise State, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They use the 2. They win the fight in a very convincing fashion. And Boise State, they get to chug forward once again. This is where Bethel got stalled out, so if Boise can win this, they can definitely shake up their own offense.
Yeah, and the golden box of victory is right around 2 turns. I mean, going towards 3rd point. And now, I mean, look, Boise State's been very good with their ultimate usage. They only had to use 2. Both of them may have been the DPS ults, but who cares? That's going to win you the fight anyways. And look, you've saved up a Primal Rage. You've saved up a Sound Barrier to counter out Big J's Death Blossom and maybe even the Overclock. So right now, Bethel's got to throw the kitchen, the house sink, the everything at them if they want to try to win this fight.
They got to try to win this fight right now. Throw it all away, Bethel. You got to put it down. Big J does not have that Death Blossom in time. Overclock from Space Marine. Kitsune from Chosen to cancel out Dawson. Dawson goes down quick. Frost going to bite the bullet as well. Losing support, so much more impactful than losing that DPS player. Bethel backs against the wall, but finally, it looks like they're going to get ready to strike once again. Plato finds Quibsy, and that has to be the nail in the coffin. The recontest cannot come through. Boise has 4 minutes to make it halfway to that third and final point.
I am shocked.
Oh,
They
these
traded out
staggers.
kills. Oh my god, I am shocked. They traded out kills. I thought Bethel could have had that one, especially with the Death Blossom, but because Big J died so early on, you can't use that Death Blossom. Yes, it's technically quote-unquote safe, but now with 50 meters left to go, it's a go button. You got to use it regardless here. Maybe not. Maybe not.
You have. Big J finds Chosen. You maybe get to hold on to one of these ultimates for the next fight. You want to hold on to that Primal Rage until it is absolutely the last fight. You want to make sure you can stall for as long as humanly possible for your team to return. And if you overextend with that Primal, it can cost your team a lot. Bethel is going to have 2 ultimates. Big J going to pop it early, it seems, and he's definitely going to try. It is huge as he puts down the Lucio and the Sojourn to boot. Kiriko not far behind, and Boise removed from this mortal coil.
I mean, that's big. Big J finds a way to land right onto Bagel, and Bagel cannot use the sound barrier, which means that's a 1 ult trade, and now it's equal on both ends. You're also going to have the overclock coming up for Boise State as well, but if you're Bethel, you take that fight any day of the week because you don't force out the sound barrier, you get the kills, and you stall out more time. But with only 14 meters left to go, that overclock popping up, if it finds one, I think this is over.
Yeah, I think this is going to be over, Clutchkey. We need to see a pretty big miracle from the side of Bethel. They've got the beat. They have to use it early, but Frost is obviously going to have that Death Blossom much faster than a secondary beat is going to appear. It'll be up to the Suzu to try and save the day. Primal from Quibsy. Is it going to be enough? It's from Dawson now. They want to put everything out that they have here. All the speed, all the damage, clear. Find Space Marine, takes that railgun offline, and that railgun is such a free fight win. If you can find a kill with it, Plato still up and running. Quibsy next to go down, and I think this has to be it for Bethel here on Kings Row. They've got no ultimates. They've got no point presence, and Boise has more than enough to scare this team off a point.
Well, the difference here is that Kuda can recontest this. Maybe even willing to here. 2 meters left to go. Somebody's got a touch.
No
Nobody
way.
Can. Kiniko doesn't touch. Kiniko had the chance to, but nothing.
Big J went to go in. He didn't wraith in time. Got caught by the Lucio boop. I don't know who Lacey is, but caught by the Lucio boop, and that was... I can't even call that a blunder. That was just a great play from that Lucio. Great job keeping the Reaper off cart, putting Boise up 2-0 on the series. I hate to say it, a 3-0 could very likely be in our midst here.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Please don't say it. I mean, for right now, from the looks of it, I mean, Boise State's got, and like I was talking about, Boise State's making use of the opportunities that they're given, and their ult consistency usage is so much better than Bethel's. I mean, Bethel's having to invest a lot. They may be, quote-unquote, saving some, but for right now, I mean, Boise State, you see them only using 2 at a time, and it's winning them fights. Even in the regular drive fights, too, Boise State's been winning a lot. Broncos have been doing an excellent job. Now, the Pilots need to be trying to do the same thing. Unfortunately, Boise State knows how to change the comp a little bit, and you talk about their depth, right? When they changed on over to that Orisa, it just completely changed the game a little bit, especially when you have that cover on Kings Row on that last point, right around that corner. You saw where the golden box of victory landed for Boise State. Didn't need to switch off to the Orisa on their attack side, but on the defensive side, when you give cover to an Orisa like that, that's going to make sure that even if you dive them, that they can just go ahead and just javelin throw or just javelin spin right in, terror surge in, doesn't matter. That Orisa can give you a lot more space rather than the Winston going in around that corner. So great job by Boise State utilizing that Orisa to its full potential. And so now Bethel coming up on down 0-2, Boise State up on match point. The next map coming up is going to be super important because if that Kings Row was any attention observing there for what the street phase is, Junkertown coming up next, if that street phase was any indication as to what's coming up, then Bethel's going to need to do a lot better here, especially on the attacking side, to make sure that, one, they can focus fire down, and two, if that Orisa is indeed popped off at all, which it may or may not be unless it comes to the third point on Junkertown, then they got to take care of one of two things, either this Lucio or the Reaper that is from Boise State, because right now that Reaper is just running them over if they decide to play the same comp as normal.
Yeah, and it's interesting because right now in the current meta of Overwatch, because there was supposed to be that patch yesterday, but it hasn't come out yet. We don't know when it's going to come out. Thursday, supposedly, but who knows how true that is. The point is, in the meta we're in right now, there's kind of that trifecta, that triangle, the rock, paper, scissors of Winston, Zarya, D.Va, right? And, you know, they each kind of counter each other out accordingly. It's very difficult to play one of them because they can get countered quickly. If you play the counter accordingly, it's a lot easier to take down that team comp. But there is kind of that dark robotic horse in the back line. Like it is Orisa, and the fact that she can be very effective in stalling out a D.Va, stalling out a Winston. She still loses to Zarya because she's a damage bullet and Zarya is insane at dealing damage. But the point is, like, Orisa, if you look at those three as S tier, Orisa is the first A tier tank to me. She is the first tank that isn't necessarily meta, but picking her is very much still a viable choice. I think it's something I'd like to see a little bit more of. I don't know if it's going to be true or not, but in all regards to kind of what we've been seeing, Orisa, not a bad pick. Right behind her, I think could be Sigma. Sigma's accretion, incredible at damaging out characters like D.Va, characters like Winston. Zarya, of course, still hard to beat because she's the strongest tank in the game, but Sigma can hold his own. That's the important part. Worst case, he forces out bubbles. He does consistent damage to the backline that Zarya possibly can't protect, or then she has to split her focus. There's kind of this weird dichotomy in the sense of Bethel is only running the meta composition, where Overwatch 2, we're not in a GOATS era. There's not only one right answer. There can be swaps, and I think, Clutch, I'd like to see those swaps right now because this game has been built. It's been changed to where swapping is not as punishing as it used to be. I think Bethel really needs to just not be afraid to go to those comfort picks. You don't always have to play meta to win.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, like in this game mode, right? You were talking, like you talk about, you don't have to play to your comfort zone. Well, right. I mean, right now, as it stands, you've got all these different tanks, right? The only tank in this meta that may or may not work, that probably doesn't work, especially, is Junker Queen, because that Kiriko can absolutely cleanse everything that Junker Queen has. So, I mean, you've got a lot of different options. The only problem right now for some of these teams is that they have to kind of experiment, because the only thing they have to go off of right now is Overwatch League and the contenders if they want to try to mirror that, especially at a high level, right? And we saw Overwatch League coming up with this entire meta right before this November patch. The midseason patch is supposed to come out, especially tomorrow when that patch does come out, or like we said, air quotes, quote unquote, tomorrow. Yeah. But when it does come out, I mean, that's probably what a lot of people are going to play, right? You've got the meta ready to go. It's just now, can you perform on it? That's what these teams are probably going to pull out. And look, I mean, the Roadhog has been very consistent on contenders, right? We've seen this in Korea contenders, and we're probably going to see a version or an iteration of that in Australia contenders when that comes up at the same time too. So when these teams are experimenting it, what's going to work, what isn't, that's the meta, that's the name of the game right now for this midseason patch. And so far what we're seeing is that Winston, Lucio, Kiriko, Sojourner, Reaper combo, because you can get in their face, you can go long range, you can get dive right in with the Lucio Kiriko, and you have nothing afraid of being able to stall out. It's kind of like the new GOAT system, if you will, and that's what teams are trying to find out. But right now with Boise State, they're going to pull out the Junker Queen and a Bastion and a Sombra. They're pulling out everything new. Chosen right now on the Kiriko is the only exception to right now this being an off-meta pick.
Yeah, so I really like every pick we're seeing from Boise except for the Junker Queen. I think this is more of like maybe just a for fun pick. You're up 2-0 on the series. You kind of want to see what you can do. Commanding Shout comes out early. The knife not far behind. It actually finds Space Marine. A critical kill on the side of Boise. Kuda gets taken down early, and there's so much damage on the side of Boise right now that Quibzy needs to be hooking those supports, needs to be hooking this Bastion every time he shows his little robotic face. And it can work very well, but Boise, they're going to very dominantly take fight number 1 here. Quibzy just a damage bullet, gets hacked out. That extra 40% from Sombra mows him down, and that is going to be Bethel handing over fight number 1. You find a pick, but I think it's a little too late. You don't have a tank.
No, you don't, and it's I mean, it's going to be desperation situation. When you talk about good picks here, I mean, everything in this composition is going to work to your favor, right? Junker Queen gives you enough damage on the tank side. You've got Plato just mowing down every single either shield or just the tank in general. Frost is able to find you a hacking target and even the backline or singling out a target like the Roadhog. And then you've got Chosen and Bagel just doing their work, especially with Chosen getting of course the protection Susan, all that the Kiriko provides, and plus Bagel with that Orb of Discord can melt that Roadhog right away. So this is I mean, it's a good comp from Boise State. Will it work out in the end? I mean, Clear's so low. If you can find a pick on the Clear, that's probably your win con in this situation, because Chosen can absolutely protect this Junker Queen in any situation given.
Absolutely. Plato playing a bit of the cart bot. Chosen finding Dawson so quickly. The Nano removed. Big J finally busting out that Hanzo I wanted to see 2 maps ago. I wouldn't be surprised to see him really start to turn things around in terms of momentum for Bethel, but you've got to find those picks first, and there's already the opening blood. Bagel down, Kuda traded out quickly, and Quibzy has not been able to land these hooks as consistently as I would like to see. Sombra in the backline makes Hanzo a very tough character to play. Here comes that strike from above from Plato. Whole hog from Quibzy. Makes a lot of space for himself, but unfortunately nobody there to follow up on it. 4.5 minutes on the clock for Boise right now, and they're getting ready to cap second point.
Yeah, I don't know if you can play the Roadhog in this situation. You have to switch to an Orisa or a Sigma. Yeah. I mean, at this point, they're just running down what they've got. And especially, I mean, when you get hooked, out of your take a breather, or when you're even hooked out, or rather targeted out as well, I mean, that's just going to go all for nothing. And look, you're probably going to get a pick onto the Zenyatta right here and get away scot-free. That's what the Sombra provides you. And now you got 5.5, and it's a stagger fight too. Look how far back Bethel is compared to where Boise State is. They've got them all the way pushed up, and look who's frontlining. It's both of the Sports plus the Bastion. I mean, this is just insane pressure, and that's what this comp provides from Boise State. They've got the pressure. Boise State, or Bethel rather, just not handling the pressure well at all. They have to switch something. That Transcendence isn't going to be able to do you any good right now, especially the way Boise State's been playing. Oh, you got to pick on the Big O. I mean, that's huge. Now's your goal time if you want to win a fight here on Junkertown.
Absolutely, you got to win a fight here one way or another. You took the Zenyatta out. You lost the last fight you were able to fight in Zen, so you've got to win this one. We're going to see Rampage online. We're going to see EMP, Kitsune, and Transcendence in the back pocket of Boise. Bethel needs to win maybe 3 fights in a row, essentially dry. They cannot overcommit these ultimates. They can't misplay the overclock. They cannot misplay the Nano, especially if the Nano gets Rampaged and they do not get the additional healing. That could be disastrous. Oh, Frost is hungry. They can smell Big J on the high ground. Low HP, and Bagel with the alternate fire puts him down. A great rotation. Somehow a Zenyatta sneaks into the back line of Bethel, and they take down that critical player of Hanzo. A lot of great bleeding. Quibsy doesn't even get to play Orisa. Clear going all the way to that spawn door, splitting Bethel and making it so hard for them to find any momentum. Double railgun. Let's make it a triple here, Clutchkey, as this has been the Play-Doh show right now. 4 out of 5 possible eliminations going to Play-Doh in that most previous fight. They've still got these ultimates. They just EMP this last fight and they win. They win every single fight on Junkertown.
Yeah, and if Big J can even get out of spawn door, they win this. Yeah, they win this basically just on that. That's just the cherry on top right now. Oh, you sleep the Sojourn. I mean, if you can get the pick, huge, but it's cleansed right away. They're going to get away. So now this Nano Boost is the only thing keeping your team alive.
Here we go. Nano Boost online. Overclock from Space Marine. We have to see a little bit of Terra Surge as well. Play-Doh has fallen. Nobody touches. They go too deep for the elims, and it's going to cost them. Boise State 3:47 on the clock. Only 13 seconds less than they started with.
Wait, what just happened? Boise State just cleared them out entirely. Yes, you have the Kitsune rush, but the way that Bethel kind of back was so weird because they got it's not like they got pushed off. They got forced off from the way Boise State was playing. They just, again, the comp that they played had so much pressure. And look, they basically have a fresh round of a fresh attack if they were to have to play another one, because right now Bethel is just not answering to this. And Junkertown, a completely new, I shouldn't say completely new, but with this 5v5 style, it was out for a couple of weeks because of a patch that was on it, but now it's back into the system. Now it's playable again for competitive mode, and now you're going to see Boise State pull up basically the same comp. The only exception would be the Bastion switch on Play-Doh into the Sojourn, which, again, we saw Sojourn just pop off, and win con again for Boise State. Get Play-Doh on the board, and Play-Doh will pop, and that's exactly what it is. Bagel now on the Lucio instead of the Zenyatta, and look, I love that Orb of Discord. As long as the Zenyatta doesn't die, you're going to be able to melt a lot of people, which is big for you. And now Bethel's going to have to find a way to counter this, especially in an open air. And look, I mean, even with the hit scan, even with the Somber, look, I mean, this may be a bad pick to some, but I still think an Echo could be an effective play here.
Sure.
But you've got Kudo on the Baptiste, and you've got Kudo on the Baptiste, which provides you a lot more healing in the same time. And now Bethel's going to pull out the Orisa, the Hanzo, and the Sojourn again. Not a lot of depth in the pool, but if Bethel can pull this out, they've got to win basically every fight to match the time bank here. But unfortunately, with the way Boise State is playing right now, Play-Doh finds one. This fight is going to be over in a flash.
Yeah, and this is so funny, you know, Boise being able to utilize Sombra for her overpowered strength simply due to the fact that patch hasn't come out yet. Sombra's still dealing 40%, can hack the same person over and over and over, and right now that Sojourn caught onto the low ground. EMP has to come out quickly, and it looks like Play-Doh finding that first blood on Space Marine makes this all the harder for Bethel. I'd like the Orisa pick a lot, because I do think it kind of destabilizes Clear on the Junker Queen. To find success with Junker Queen, you have to get up close and personal. She needs to hit you with the axe or the shotgun. Those have to be close quarters plays. Holy cow. And that Javelin does a really good job removing her from the fight. Frost forced out early, has to translocate away. Bethel has time. They can buy themselves another fight if they can take somebody down quickly. Play-Doh gets caught out by Dawson's ultimate fire, and Big J, taken down on the high ground. That is definitely gonna hurt. This just feels like Boise. They found the full deconstruction. Bethel in a bit of a panic mode here, and it is not working well for them yet.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Orisa pick, but if it wasn't on this map. I think the Orisa
Valid.
provides you a lot of a good space maneuvering, but there's multiple levels to this map. This map is so free and open right now that right now this Junker Queen can just run right around you like Clear just did, get some picks on you, and look, this Junker Queen Bagel probably isn't going to go down, gets the health back and gets out.
Oh my goodness, I guess you forced the beat from Bagel, but I mean, trading a beat for half your time bank, not exactly what you want to see. Quibsy goes for the hero play off the map, gets taken down by Clear, who doesn't even fall off the map. Things looking really rough here. Bethel staring in the face of a full hold right now. If Frost accuracy is good enough, they will be able to take down that Zen. Gonna fall a little bit late.
Wow.
Now, all of a sudden, Boise State, they're going all the way into that spawn door. Somber has to get out of the fight. Currently a 5v4. There goes Clear. Oh my goodness, a couple of folks off the map. Clear says, if I'm going down, you're coming with me, dang it.
No.
And it looks like that is going to be another fight win for Boise State. Absolute unfettered dominance right now.
Somebody needs to clip that, please. It wasn't that Clear was going to fall off the map. Clear wanted to fall off the map. They know they have a huge lead. So Clear then throws Gracie out, throws the knife onto Kuda, and when Kuda is right on that edge, brings it back and pulls both of them off the map. I don't know what, like, Clear is just bullying them at this point. I mean, oh wow, Big J's got a couple of kills with the Hanzo, which is big. They're allowed to move up just a little bit more, but I mean, Boise State's got a lot of action right now, and look, they don't have a transcendence either for this Junker Queen Rampage coming up. I mean, this is just Boise State's game to win right now.
Yeah, with only 78 seconds left on the clock. Here comes the Rampage. It's going to be able to hit a couple of power players in the form of Dawson early. 3 eliminations now in favor of Bethel. They're finally coming to life in these final moments. The Overwatch factor at its finest. They get them online early. They find that Rampage quick enough, and Frost has the EMP. I doubt we're going to see it, right? I wouldn't 1v5 an EMP even with that 40% damage boost. And it looks like Bethel may finally get this, but Boise, they've got more than enough time to recontest. And with an EMP in their back pocket, it could be disastrous. Clear on the Doomfist. There's an EMP. It's going to be able to find 2. Doesn't it interrupt Terra Surge, and Frost finds out the hard way. That's how that interaction goes. Tank down. One Widow finds another Space Marine that's missing. And Bethel, they do not have the numbers any longer. It's up to Quibsy to try and find this in the final 40 seconds of the fight. They threw every ultimate they had out underneath in those previous fights. Quibsy finds 3, but could not find 5. But unfortunately, that will stall out Bethel. 30 seconds remain clutch. It is now or never, or Bethel is going to get 3.
And they're coming in dry. The only thing they have is aim for sight, which does you what? And I mean, it gets you vision, but
you know where they're gonna be.
You gotta hit shots. I mean, that's it. You gotta still hit the shots. I mean, yes, you know where they're gonna be, but if you can trade out with this Widow right now, no, Plato, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's just murder. You can't. Oh boy. Somebody needs to call 911. Oh, boy.
Oh, okay. Plato has decided it's time for Bethel to play go home. I mean, this is just such a strong performance. Nobody's able to even touch. And Boise State with a 3-0 on the night. My goodness. I'll say the other 2 maps were close. This was Boise all day long.
Yeah, I mean, you know what the map pool is going to be before the starts, so they probably practice this all the way through. And look, the Junker Queen strat works. I mean, it's not the meta, but Bethel not deciding to play the Kiriko was probably one of the bigger things there because, I mean, yes, you get the Immortality field out, but that Protection Susu gives you so much. And what Boise State just did was absolutely run the table with the Kiriko Zenyatta combination. And look, they ran that Kiriko Lucio combination really well. Those 2 supports together are probably right now a better combination. If you could run the table and be a little more aggressive, that's exactly what Boise State did, and Bethel had to play a little more passively, especially on the Orisa. I mean, yes, the Orisa can create space down on the ground, but when your healers are that far back and that Sombra is on you, you have to play close together. That allows that Sombra to just go right on in, play the game, play their game, and play with the rest of the team when Boise State just decides we're going to run rampant, we're going to run right in. So Boise State clearing a 3-0 sweep, that was big for them. So in the end, Bethel, again, not a bad first 2 maps. It was just trying to find the opportunities, but not getting the most out of those opportunities. And then Boise State, in the end, 5-0 on the season so far, and they're looking very good to make a great run when playoffs happen. So Boise State staying undefeated, Bethel going down to 4-2, but Bethel not too bad if it's your 2 losses. If your 2 losses are to Ball State and to Boise State in this case, so not too bad of 2 losses. Just working on finding a way to get those opportunities. When that mid-season patch comes out tomorrow, I think Bethel's going to have a better opportunity to find out what they're made of coming up here in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Bethel, they're going to have to, find a loss of the season. It wasn't their first. Hopefully it is their last. A very strong team. A lot of off-rolling happening in Overwatch 2. They're trying new compositions. They're changing some things up, and I definitely have faith for that team of the future, but unfortunately, the future is not the present. They walk away with an 0-3 loss against Boise. On the bright side, We get to interview somebody from Boise in just a couple of minutes here. We're going to throw it to a super small break, pull our interview in here, and we'll see you right back in just a couple of minutes to hear about what was happening from Boise's point of view. We'll see you soon.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Garozzo, also known as Sapphire. I'm so excited to join you here today. This is an initiative that means a lot to me. I've been involved in esports now for a little more than I want to admit, but about 20 years in many different facets. And when I started, I was often the only woman in the room. There were no women competitions. There were no other women on co-ed teams or women's teams. And that obviously has changed drastically over the most recent couple of years. Initiatives like this are so meaningful to getting more women involved and giving them a stepping stone to join those tier 1 leagues, to join co-ed teams, mixed teams, and hopefully become the best in the world. So I came to join today to just tell you a little bit about my journey, hopefully inspire you, whether you want to go down the path of being a professional gamer or a content creator, or you want to work in the industry. There's so many different options, and I wanted to share a little bit about my story with you. So first off, I'm actually at Valorant Champions in Istanbul right now. The match is happening like just behind the door from me, so you might even hear some of the crowd noise going hype. The crowd is obviously cheering for Fnatic. Actually, I just heard a loud cheer right now, so something epic might have just happened. But so apologies if you hear that background noise, but it's all part of the vibe. It's all part of just being in esports, living and breathing esports. My journey actually started just as a player. I was a multi-sport varsity athlete in high school. Tore my MCL, was out on an injury, and then I found esports. My brother would have his friends over, and I didn't want my brother to be better than me than anything, and I just started playing. And this was actually Counter-Strike. Valorant wasn't out at the time, of course, and turns out that I was pretty decent at it, and so started playing more and more and more. Found some teammates, traveled down to the CPL, which is like the top tournament at the time. Thought after winning a bunch of tournaments in the Milwaukee area that we would come in and do really well. Turns out we were terrible, and we finished dead last, lost to a Finnish team that was one of the best in the world. But it only motivated me to be a better player. So I kept competing. Eventually, I made it on to some of the top teams. I was in co-ed teams, played in ESEA Invite, which is now the equivalent of ESL Pro League, and also played on some co-ed teams. Played with teammates like Miss Harvey, Potter, who is now the coach of Evil Geniuses, Alice Liu, that played with Complexity's Valorant team. Some of the things that I learned in my competing journey, it's not just about my physical skill in the game, not just how quick you could react to something, but communication, teamwork. These things are so important. At Valorant Champions right now, I get the opportunity to listen into the teams and listen to their communication. It's amazing how they refine their craft and refine how they communicate with their teammates. It's something so fascinating. So I encourage you, one of the things I like to tell up and coming players is record your team's comms and listen back. Did you give the right calls? Could you have done better calls? Those calls have been shorter and more precise? Those are some of the things I learned as a player. Throughout that playing journey, one of the highlights was in 2012 when I traveled to Paris and competed in the Esports World Cup, which was the top tournament for women at the time. And we came in and we won the World Championship, which was so exciting. It's so amazing to play in front of crowds of thousands of people. They were cheering against us because we were playing against a European team and we were an American team. But that feeling is just like unlike anything else when you can raise that trophy and they play the national anthem of your country. I hope many of you playing in this competition will get to experience some of that one day. It's truly an honor. Some of the other things besides competing and winning trophies, I played in 250 tournaments over the years. I believe that's the most for any woman. It's hard to keep track in the early days, but beyond competing, I work in the industry. So I'm the vice president at Dignitas. It's one of the oldest operating esports teams. We had for many years one of the top women's teams in the world. I also founded a women's initiative called Radiant and operate women's esports tournaments just like this. And I've realized how important that is. A lot of people will ask, why do the women need their own tournament? Why can't they just play with the guys? And my response back is, if you look at a game like Valorant, there's a reason why there are so many women competing in this game compared to other esports titles. It's because these women's initiatives exist, and they give women something to work towards, something to get started. It gives them a more safe environment, a harassment-free environment to kick off their careers. And I hope one day we don't need women's tournaments. That's the end goal, is because more women are competing and more women are going to start to shine in those tier 1 teams. My last point is, as I said, working in the industry, there's so many different job opportunities. You don't have to be the best player in the world. You don't have to be comfortable on camera and be a content creator. You can work in business side, marketing, advertising. You can work in PR. You can work even in the sciences. There's sports psychology jobs. There's team chefs. There's nutritionists. One of my positions is being an observer. Like I said, I'm at Valorant Champions right now. And, if you're dual monitoring and you're watching both this event and Valorant Champions at the same time, after this, I'm about to hop in and be the observer for XSET versus Fnatic, essentially an in-game director. There's a million different production jobs as well. But I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to hopefully inspire you to continue to pursue esports and gaming if that's something you love. And then my final comment is just a reminder that, you're going to be.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to ECAC Overwatch here on Esports U. Still Septilant and Clutch, but this time we are joined by a good friend of mine from Boise State, Bagel, who has joined us in the call. So, Bagel, I gotta put you on the spot right away. Map 3, Junkertown. What on earth was that team composition? I mean, the Sombra, the Junker Queen, there's a Zenyatta for some reason. Like, what was going on at that point? Were you guys just running things like, hey, this might work? Or was that something you guys actually had, like, planned? Is that, like, a pocket strategy for Junkertown?
Well, I don't want to leak anything, but, we got some stuff in the pocket. We've been in the workshop thinking about comps, and that might be one of them, but that also might be us having some fun. So I won't give anything away.
Yeah, I mean, going off I think it was somebody pulled Kudo off the map. So I mean, I think it was where the Junker Queen was. But clean pulls Kudo off the map, and the chat just went berserk after that. But no, a good game overall. I mean, let's go back to the Oasis pick, the Oasis map, first map. You guys get Gardens and University, but that second map with Bethel winning 199 there, and then you guys just come back. You just come back and win University, even if it was closer. So what were the comps like going into that third map of Oasis to basically set up a 3-0 sweep here?
They definitely caught us off guard. They started playing quick. They had some great ults set up. That's definitely props to them. They played really well, and they gave us a shock. And we realized we needed to reset a bit. We need to think about it, take better fights, and start going quick and having these conversations faster instead of trying to set up stuff and taking it slow. Bethel really gave us a good game, and we appreciate that. And I think after that little shock to our system, we were able to reset ourselves and come back with the 3-0.
No, and a lot of things as well. I mean, you guys come back with a 3-0, like you were saying, 3-2 on Kings Row, and go back to Kings Row, where it kind of got a little, questionable there when I shouldn't say questionable. It got a little dirty there when you guys had to basically come back all the way down. You guys lost that first fight very early on Bethel's attack side, and then they would come. Would come right back. Arisa swapping there, which was huge for you guys, and then basically playing that third point rather, all too cleanly, especially only giving up 33 meters back on Kings Row as well. So with all the swaps that were going on for you guys, with the swaps and everything that was happening, what was the composition and what was everybody thinking about going into that last point, just playing that oh so cleanly after just I shouldn't say a super bad, but kind of a fast point number one?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so I mean, what was it like? Sorry, so what was it? I mean, what was the conversation going on, especially after a quick first point there, going into points 2 and 3, where you guys played a lot more defensively and got a lot more of the picks that you needed?
We are starting to figure out how much leeway we can give ourselves with being aggressive. We ended up playing linearly a lot, which is just, playing lane to lane, and then they have a Roadhog and they have Kiriko ult, so that just gets them a lot of hooks, a lot of picks. And when we started figuring out that we need to take some angles, take some attention a different way, and started playing our game and getting the tempo back, so then we weren't just playing into them, we were playing what we wanted to play, that really favored us. I think that's what got us the win there.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys found the win in a pretty consistent spot. I hope people can still hear me. My VMix just fully froze. I hope that's a me problem and not a stream problem. But Bagel, just one more question for you before we let you go. Is there anybody you'd like to give a thank you or a shout out to while you're here with us?
Absolutely. Today was Frost's last game, so we really wanted to make it special for him. And he didn't want to do the interview. We tried to encourage him, but I want to shout him out. He was absolutely wonderful today, and he's a great teammate. And I'm hoping to still see more of him, despite if it's not on the field or not.
Oh, beautiful. Well, Frost, even though you can't hear me right now, thank you for joining us. A big congrats on a victory for your last game. But Bagel, we will let you get out of here, go celebrate with the team. Thank you so much for joining us, and a huge congrats on that victory.
Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day.
You as well, my friend. And with that, folks, as all good things must, Overwatch 2 has come to an end here on Esports U today. It was a fantastic matchup. Clutch, I'm really glad to be back on the desk with you. It's always fun to be here. A big shout out to Rhino for our in-game observing. A big shout out to Colton for all of our great production. Both teams for coming out. And of course, all of you for watching. We love each and every one of you. Check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other, and we'll see you next time.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big.
Hey guys, K-Tad here, and as spring break is upon us, we too need a break every once in a while, but with that said, we've still got some great collegiate esports action for you, and playoffs is around the corner, so that these teams are doing everything they can to make the cut. Let's get into it. Starting us off, it's a POTG for POST as Hiveder spins to win and keeps his team alive in their series against the Colonels.
Those who needed that victory, they needed to know that the reverse if it's going to take place. Costa started with the best.
At number 7, Floppy's got a show to put on for us as he juggles Sen around the stage.
Off stage, how will they make it back on? Just immediately opting to go for the ledge, eating an uphill, and totally not going to be dying quite yet. He is quite a hefty boy, but what a follow-up.
Yeah, ping pong with his...
It's overtime out the gate for our number 6 clip, and eBest Drew hangs it us a little to the left to clutch it up for Farmingdale.
Gets it over one, has Indemnity to work through now to flick over him. Chance, top of the box for MC Drew. That's a goal, game 1 winner for Farmingdale.
Yeah, that's eBest Drew right here. Fantastic shot reception, or that pass reception, I should say. After Otto puts this across the top right here.
Up next is Curious George with the Cura Ace to clutch up the round for Keen. And yes, the editors came up with the name of this clip, not me.
Behind it. And now you're going to be talking about a bolstered post flank here. It would probably be in the best interest of Keen to go ahead and just save their weapon. Not exactly sure how their guns are looking, how their economy is looking, excuse me. But this just seems so unfavorable for them. They're sort of making it work, mind you. Curious George, he's going ahead and giving it the old college try. He's going to make it an ace, but does he have the time behind the snake bite? He can go ahead and stick on it. And by God, again! Keen just cannot keep getting away with it. They're disjointed, they're scrappy as all hell.
It's Ye Old Faithful in our number 4 spot as Putnut and Kofe toss out a huge Grav Dragons to flip the point and secure map number 1 for Nickel State.
I think they're going to have to bait out this Immortality. First, we're going to see that committed on the back of the Grav, but the Dragon Strike is massive. A 4-shot for Kofe. And with that, the Colonels will take control of the point once again.
Now this might only be our number 3 clip of this week, but you guys have to check out this play from Not Leopard as he pulls off these ridiculous moves to juggle the ball right past the defenders of Central Missouri and into the net.
It's possible, setting up a counter-attack potential, but Fan Shui here, Not Leopard. What? Oh, Not Leopard! They have families! Stop it! They beat all 3 defenders!
I finally figured out why it's not Leopard. It's not Leopard because it's Messi. Messi with the dime, the dish, the left to the right.
At number 2, this is probably one of the smartest plays we've seen in a while. Now UNM's Wicked Pro, after finding the spike on A, decides to ult and immediately rotate out after getting the info that the rest of the attackers are mid. What happens next? We'll just watch.
A bit frustrated about that one.
Oh, and this is a great play going around from the smoke from the belt. They have the perfect opportunity. And once that falls, everyone will be revealed. They'll be hit with the decay. This could be huge. Yes. Fisher Row. Caught on the zip line. Wicked gets 2.
Another 4K for Wicked, who is playing out of their mind. The 500 IQ play. You knew that it was a weird angle to have that Viper spit. You knew that they were going to check everywhere inside. And
Alright, number 1, let me break this down for you. Series 3, last man standing. The anchor in Atata as he somehow manages to bring Illinois Wesleyan back from being in a 1v3 for this series.
big lead here for Wayne State, but we'll see. You know, Atata's not out of the count just yet, and they might be looking, I mean, they're definitely looking to take away with the 3 stock, but they can't play too risky. Okay, we see the NPA flash there. They're going to make it back to ledge. We also saw a pretty Hail Mary forward smash there at low percent at that. The risk reward on that is a little skewed. Ooh, look at this jab reset into the forward smash. What a beautiful combo.
They just feel confident in their team, and there's nothing more that I love with that. But the mess is already trying to make a statement saying that you should have brought the person who could take the stocks first.
That is amazing right there. We saw the PK fire, multi-hits goes for the downer. There's an off-stage air dodge. Suddenly, this is looking very bad for Younglink and potentially Wayne State as a whole.
Side, don't let them grab you. You still got to be careful. Ness is a threat no matter where they are on the stage.
Nice rising fair to kind of even that out. Good blade beam to catch the PK fire. Maybe the PK fire is in reaction. There's a climb hazard. This is Ness's time. That forward tilt takes it. And IWU, Illinois Wesleyan Titans, takes it over Wayne State College 2-1 across the set. The final game going 2 stocks to Atata over Chef Louis 0 stocks. Oh my goodness, what a heart-wrencher.
Well, there you have it. What a crazy week it was, and honestly, I know it's only going to get even crazier as we move on. Now, the competition is fierce not only just in Division A, but even some of these open division matches are going the distance and coming down to the wire. Now, as always, if you want to stay up to date on everything, give us a follow on Twitter at ECAC_esports, or if you guys want to check out the matches live, we broadcast Mondays and Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays at 7. Once again, a special shout out to our partners at Esports U for providing additional coverage of our matches on their network. But I mean, that's it. That's all I've got for you guys this week. We're only 2 more weeks out after this, and I mean, I'm really curious to see how the playoffs shakes out this year. But don't go anywhere, guys. Come back right here every week, every time, same day, same time. You guys know how it runs, and don't go anywhere. I'll see you guys next time.
https://twitter.com/Septilence. Don't put that in. I'll get in trouble. So that's worth it. Did I get too close to the camera on that one? A little bit too close. Should I back up a little bit? Okay, sorry about that. My bad. I've been awake for probably close to 32 hours. Like, I have to hold my keyboard the normal way, because if I do it, I feel like I have arthritis and I hold my keyboard like that. It blows my mind. I can never do that. This guy right here, he's got his keyboard off at an angle. His isn't that extreme. There's a kid all the way down to the far end who has his keyboard all the way at a horizontal.
That's really cool.
They're gonna be at that table right over there.
Public information?
Oh, I don't know. This isn't live, so it doesn't matter.
It's not live, but you and I know.
Yeah, we know.
I'm not gonna tweet it.
Awesome. What game do you play?
Smash Bros.
Who do you play? Is it embarrassing? Is it like Villager?
Yeah.
Is it Villager? Am I spot on? Oh my god. Is it the Ice Climbers?
No.
Is it Game & Watch?
No.
Is it Pichu?
No.
Is it Wario?
No.
I can keep going. I think I can name every character in the game. Is it? Did I say the Ice Climbers already?
Yeah, you said them.
Is it them? Is it them a second time?
No.
Okay. All right. Oh, is it one of the Links?
Yes, it is.
Is it Toon Link?
It is.
Oh, that is pretty embarrassing. That is rough. Who do you play?
I'll give you $20 if you guess correctly right now.
First try? Give me a single hint.
It's an obscure character.
Obscure character.
Not played very often.
Is it Wii Fit Trainer?
Oh my god! Oh my god.